All right, so Ritual Death is a Norwegian black metal band. We could call it a bestial black metal band. We could maybe even call it a black death metal band if we really look at the riffs and decide where we want to draw the line. And I only say that because a lot of this record resembles some of the core ideas that Beharra were working with between their demo phase and Drawing Down the Moon, where you start to see the integration of keyboards. You see the movement between death metal influences, thrash metal influences, and early black metal influences in the early 90s, where we see uh, those sort of classic, just heavy metal influences still factoring into the production of black metal. And, it's kind of my own tangent. I think that the important things that these people come from the Trondheim black metal spheres, which tend to be particularly fine works, usually fairly minimal, and they don't give you like 3 hour albums or anything like that, which hone in on what I would call traditional death metal with its own personality, or traditional black metal with its own personality. And in this case, uh, my references for this record were generally Gorgoroth's first demo and Beherit up until Drawing Down the Moon. Um, and you hear that developing over the course of their 7-inch record, their 10-inch record, where what they had done on those early releases is reflected here, and is probably more relevant to their tradition in other bands, such as One Tail One Head. Most people know that name at least, and if you like their record, you'll like this as well. But the same guy who heads Beyond Man and Darvaza heads this, so you'll find a lot of the same sensibilities applied, just something that's a little bit closer to bestial black metal or black death metal from a very early 90s standpoint. Um, so it's so how can I necessarily communicate what this is? It's a very brief and very visceral album that feels like it was built from uh, not so much jam sessions, but this is a capture of pure instinct towards conveying um, black metal, death worship music. This is uh, I don't want to call it ritualistic black metal because I don't feel like it's not a trance-like psychedelic experience in terms of the rhythms. This is very much a early traditional black metal step between the first wave, second wave, and the sort of advent of blast beats. So there's a lot of eerie keyboards. There's a lot of interesting atmosphere. There's a lot of great effects put into this record that sort of make it into a really easy flowing but confrontational full listen. It's about a little over half an hour, and it's the kind of black metal record I'm enjoying more and more these days, just because it cuts a lot of the pretentious bullshit out of the way and gets right to the uh, mean and mayhemic expression of what black metal is. So I was really impressed by this record. Again, I think it's one of the better records out in December. Certainly one of the more interesting black metal records out in December. And shouldn't be left behind just because it's a bit late in the year. So check that out if that sounds like it's your kind of thing. And give it a quick listen. It's not that demanding.